A house twice the size you use doesn't give you more freedom. It gives you more to think about. More rooms mean more cleaning, more repairs, more empty space asking to be filled, and more small decisions that follow you into the weekend. A smaller home can cut that noise. It can protect your time, reset your internal scoreboard, and show you that enough isn't a compromise. It's a size you choose on purpose. Every extra room becomes an open tab in your mind. Even if you rarely enter it, you know it's there. It needs heat or cooling. Dust settles in it. Something will break in it. At some point, you'll look at the bare walls or empty floor and feel the quiet pressure to turn it into something useful. That pressure doesn't always sound like a problem. It often sounds sensible. A guest room, a second workspace, a room for storage, a place for a hobby you may take up later. But a room built for a future version of you still needs care from the current version of you. That's the trade most housing decisions hide. Think about a large house like a ship with more decks than you use. Each deck has lights, pipes, surfaces, and systems that need your attention. Whether you spend time there or not, you don't own more peace because the ship is bigger. You own more systems. A home should support your life. It shouldn't become your part-time job. The work isn't only the obvious work either. It's not just cleaning floors or fixing a loose handle. It's noticing the clutter in the spare room every time you pass the door. It's searching through storage because there was enough space to keep things you don't need. It's holding a vague list in your head of all the things you should deal with when you have time. Deal with golly. Well, when you have time. That list drains more than an hour on a Saturday. It takes up attention in small pieces all week. You leave a box in a corner because the room can absorb it. A few months later, the box has company. Then the room becomes a place where unfinished decisions go to hide. The house creates room for delay, and delay creates visual noise. A smaller home puts a limit on that process. When space runs out, you need to decide. Keep it, use it, or let it go. That can feel restrictive at first, but it removes a quiet burden. You stop managing an archive of old intentions. Your home holds what earns its place in your life now. Less space doesn't force you to live with nothing. It asks you to keep fewer things that ask nothing back. A smaller home also cuts the number of tiny choices you face. You aren't deciding how to furnish another room, where to store one more set of things, or whether a space looks presentable before someone visits. Your environment gives you fewer chances to spend money and attention solving problems that excess space created. The system does a good job of selling this back to you as progress. First, it sells the larger home. Then it sells the furniture, storage, decor, tools, and services needed to make the larger home feel complete. Very efficient. Dull. For the system, your weekends tell the more honest story. Consider what you spend your free time maintaining, arranging, cleaning, checking, or planning around. Some of that work comes with any home, and that's fine. The question is whether the home gives you a place to live, or keeps handing you tasks to prove you deserve it. There is a simple test for this. Map your actual week. Where do you sleep? Where do you eat? Where do you work? Where do you sit when you want to rest? Which rooms hold real life, and which ones hold an image of a life you thought you should have? Don't judge the answer. Just look at it cleanly. You may find that part of your home exists for rare visits, outside approval, or a version of your life that hasn't shown up. Space for guests can be kind. Space for your work can be useful. But space bought mainly to signal that you've arrived comes with a monthly bill and a maintenance plan. The smaller house removes many of those claims before they reach you. It leaves fewer surfaces to care for, fewer things to store, and fewer corners where postponed choices can collect. That helps on its own. But the deeper shift starts when living with less space changes what you believe your income is supposed to buy. Once you stop treating square footage as proof that you've done well, your income starts to mean something else. It stops funding a display for other people and starts giving you room to choose. That shift matters because housing sits near the center of lifestyle creep. A larger home rarely arrives alone. It pulls in higher fixed costs, more stuff, and an unspoken rule that the rest of your life should now match the address. You can earn more and still feel trapped. The house just gives the trap nicer walls. Your internal scoreboard changes the decision. Instead of asking what a professional at your income should live in, ask what your real life needs from a home. You need a place to sleep well, work if you work from home, share meals, rest, and spend time with those close to you. Beyond that, each extra room needs a clear job, not a story. A job. Status signaling works because it turns a private choice into a public test. One D al balgajal al dwight team asparo said, Wadaru al-Darir dibendade, the say, style. A bigger house can seem like a neat way to show that your career paid off. Even when the cost shows up in parts of life no visitor sees. More debt. Maishti and al-Rad, al-Vivio got. Less cash on hand. A job you can't leave because the monthly number won't let you. Quiet wealth looks different. It often looks like having the ability to turn down work that drains you, take time when life changes, or handle a bad stretch without panic. No one sees that from the street. You feel it when you need it. Think about what financial margin does to your mind. When your fixed costs sit below what you can carry, a hard work week doesn't force the same fear. You can speak more plainly at work. You can wait before taking the next role. You can deal with a family problem without every choice running through a payment due next month. Money doesn't solve every problem. It does cut the number of problems that can corner you. A smaller home can help keep that margin intact because it puts a firm edge around the urge to expand. You see enough each day. The rooms work. The space holds your life. That lived proof can do more than a rule you write on paper, because you don't need to talk yourself out of excess every time you earn more. The home becomes a kind of guardrail. Picture your house as a container. When the container grows far beyond your actual life, it invites you to pour in more stuff, more plans, and more cost until it feels full. The container doesn't stay empty for long. Consumer culture hates an empty shelf. It sees a sales slot. Living below your space budget keeps the container close to the life inside it. That doesn't mean cramped. It means deliberate. You choose enough room for the life you live, with some slack where it truly helps. Then you keep the rest of your income free. Before you move or upgrade, use a plain filter. First, name the problem your current home fails to solve. Be specific. I want more space isn't a problem. We can't sleep because the home office sits beside the bedroom is a problem. Then ask how the new space changes your day after the first few weeks. Does it help you rest, work, care for someone, or spend time in a way that you can't do now? If the answer rests on how it will look to others, you've already found the cost. Finally, accept the work that comes with it before you sign. Not just the payment, the time, the upkeep, the pull on your cash, and the new standard you may feel pressured to meet. A house doesn't end when you buy it. It keeps sending invoices in time. The goal isn't to make your life small. It's to stop your home from taking up the part of your life that belongs to you. The right home gives you enough room to live, then leaves your money, attention, and time alone. If this reframed something for you, subscribe for more on quiet wealth, lifestyle creep, and buying back your time instead of funding status signaling.